And we are recording on everything now. Good morning. Sorry I'm 7 minutes late, but I did wake up today on time. It took me a while to set this kind of setup up. And I did send out a tweet last week, and it was my mistake because I failed you guys. I did not actually follow through with that particular subject. I believe I talked about something else that interested me at that time. Kind of just went with it. And a lot of these streams, honestly, I should want to set this up. I don't think this light. I got a new light, you guys. So, let's see if it'll get brighter. That's nice. Dope. Cool. I am gonna possibly get another light. Here soon, maybe in the next couple weeks, get like a bigger one, boom, and just like shoot it down. This one was kind of an initial thing for me to see if I liked it. Just to like, I don't know. Sometimes it's harder for me, like I said, to buy things for myself. If it's for a job, somebody says like, "Hey, Jose, we're gonna hire you. Your responsibility now is to do this." I'll start buying a bunch of stuff for it. But for me, it's harder for me to buy stuff for myself. I feel like I'm spoiling myself, even though it's kind of like for my benefit. Right? If I'm doing live streams right now, it's like super dark. Let's look at the contrast right quick. This is when no light. This is what the light would be like right now. So this would be the scenario, or even worse, because right now there's a light behind me on this corner. I guess that one right there. But if it was dark at like 9 o'clock at night, and I actually want to do some labs or something, and I want to instruct, and I want to like do something, boom, boom, which is what I'm planning to do. I can't do it with this kind of setup. So this, I can actually set it up at 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night, 12, or anytime when the sun goes down. Right now, the sun goes down at around 5. Like, it doesn't go down at 5, but I can tell significantly the light beaming down here. And then, of course, everything kind of messed up right now. I don't know why. Whoa, that was crazy. So, I don't know why everything kind of just acted up right now. See if it happens again. Uh-oh. So now my light's all messed up. This is what I get for messing with it. Let's do some troubleshooting here. That sucks. Might have to end the stream, cut back on. There it was. Yeah, too much power. Start up, kind of like short circuited, I think. I wonder how that will look. Everything's still recording, so let's see what it looks on my page real quick. Actually, let's do this. Let's do my page. I want to make sure that you guys can still hear me. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys can still hear me. Great. Whatever, I guess. All right. So I do have the chat up. Chat. Boom. We're golden there. Cool. I wish I can have the chat here. I think I can if I adjust the layout, but whatever. Cool. Now that I kind of almost messed up my stream here, messing with the light here, but that's why I got that. That's the update. Got a new light, which is awesome. I'm really happy about that. One of the discussions here I wanted to have with you guys was learning versus being certified. Now, of course, when you get certified, you by in essence like learn. But the major difference for me when you get learning versus certification is when you're on aspect of learning, it means you're just educating yourself. It's like getting a degree. It's like taking a class um, without the intention to getting a degree, pretty much. So you get in order to get a class. All right, so let's do this for example on the CCNA, because whatever CCNA. All right, I want to learn right here. You learn basic network concepts. Basic network concepts. Yeah, I think pretty much that kind of encompasses everything that it does. Now, you can read the CCNA book and then maybe one time not get certified. How long will that take you? I say this, just reading it. If you just read it one chapter at a time, boom, boom, no notes, no nothing. If you just read it, I say that book takes you 1 month. If you read every day for about an hour or two a day. Now, if you take notes, if you just take casual notes, not the intention of getting certified, again, it's different. If you just take casual notes, oh, this is interesting, I'm gonna take a note on this, I say it takes you double the time, right? Now, in order to get certified, I think a normal person will take 4 to 6 months to get certified. Now, see the difference here? This is, you just read once, no notes. And actually, look, whoops, I messed you in front of you guys over here. Read once with no notes. Read once with notes. This is estimation, obviously. It's my interpretation of what I believe. And then exam, read with intent to take exam. Now, say, and this matters because 4 to 6 months of dedicated time for the CCNA. Okay, obviously there's 12 months in a year. So what are you going to do with these 12 months, right? From January to December 31st, what are you going to do? So are you going to be CCNA certified? Are you going to start prepping for another exam? Right. So technically, if you get a CCNA, you have half the year to do something else, to prep for something else and attempt something else. That's because not many people pass CCNA the first shot, especially with no experience coming in there. What I mean with no experience is no prior knowledge of a CCNA, of a Cisco exam before. You don't know what you're going to go into. So you just go in there and you have this idea of what it'll be like. You go in there, you possibly fail it, and you leave with a failure. And usually it's, if you have an understanding concept, usually you only fail by a few points. It wouldn't be such a big deal. If it's a big deficit, that means that you're not prepared. But if you go in there and you fail the first time, usually like if the passing score is 859. Usually a person who's prepared, based on my experience, if you're prepared and you just didn't expect some things, or kind of the exam tripped you up or something like that, you'll probably score a 750 to 840, right? That'll be your area of which you're like, all right, well, I was prepared, not prepared enough. Now with the second attempt, it's likely that will pass. So, but in any case, 12 months in a year, it takes 4 to 6 months for your CCNA, roughly. That's respectively. Now, 1 month is to read with no notes. Now, this gets you, in my opinion, you'll know the knowledge, but not to this. The reason why it takes you 4 to 6 months is because when you're taking a test, it's like drop, boom, knocking them out. When I took my CCNA, it was, I think, when I took it a long time ago, 2013 or 14, I believe it was. When I took it at that moment, I think I was on like 20 questions left, and then I was running out of time, and I quickly just went through them, and then I failed. The time I passed it, which was about a year and a half, oh no, 6 months ago. I'm making it way longer than it was because I feel it's been longer. I passed it in, what year are we? 2020? No. I took it in 2018. Yeah. No, I took it in 2019. I feel like 2019 kind of threw me off there. It's throwing me off a little bit. It's threw me off just a little bit. It's because I've been in Vegas for about a year, so it's kind of throwing me off. But I took it when I was in Vegas, which was last year. It's my full year last year being in Vegas. So in 2019, I passed my CCNA. Now, when I took it then, that's right, because I was finishing the study in 2000. I was planning on taking it in 2018, but then life ran into me, and then I had to adjust. And we'll talk about that here in a bit. I took it in 2019. I had half an hour to spare when I took it. That's because I was answering all that. Drop. I got one of them I got a 914 or something. The passing score was 890 or something. The second one I passed was a 854, and the passing score was 840. And all of them, both of them I had. The second exam was a little bit harder, the ICND 2. But I knocked them both out real quickly because I took my time, and I took the months I needed. The months that I needed for me to prepare myself were well enough to take that exam. Now, do you need to know things to that extent in the real world? No, absolutely not. However, if you don't want to be a network admin or don't want to be an engineer, like honestly, the CCNA it's mainly is geared for, in my opinion, for a network engineer prospect, like somebody who wants to be a network engineer. I always wanted to be a network engineer. I always wanted my title to be a network engineer and truly be the guy that handled the networking aspect of the organization. Now, that's always what I liked since I started going to college for it. That was always my dream to be that. I always wanted to be the CCIE and be the guy, the networking guy. I think it stems from seeing that one of our professors, both of them were network engineers, administrators, kind of like very high level, and they were teaching us, and everyone really respected them. And at the BRI, at that campus, both the campuses, one was Pomona, one was Colton, and both of them everyone really respected them. And other IT professionals come to them and ask them for help all the time about their jobs. Like, I have this issue and at the network, whatever, at this business that I administer, I need help, and then he'll give them real quick troubleshooting steps to see what they can look at. And I admire them. So I think that's where it stems from, maybe. But I also really like networking. It's very challenging for me. So I kind of just want to keep pounding that goal of mine to eventually be the CCIE. However, do you need that? No. I think if you're just trying to, and this is what I always say, and this kind of boom goes into this real quick. CompTIA. And here to break it down actually a little bit. The starting point for a career, certification essentials needed for confident design, configure and manage troubleshooting wireless devices, and then Security Plus. So the only one here, in my opinion, that's really worth getting certified in is the Site Plus, because it doesn't really get offered anywhere else. And this is a bare minimum requirement for a lot of government jobs. If you're in IT and you do working in the government, this is a bare minimum. Actually, this is an exam that everyone kind of look. Have you gotten Site Plus certified? Site Plus certified. So now, why do I say you shouldn't get the A plus and the Network Plus? Because I did this. I learned. Well, actually, I read Just to lag a little bit. Let me see. Read the A plus. Get certified. Did this to pass. What did I do to pass? Interview. So what I did was some of the questions they asked me in interviews I didn't understand because I never read the A plus book that answered a lot of those questions. So what I mean by that is that some of these HR people, or hiring managers, or what have you, pull like basic common questions for entry level IT professionals. And what they do is they Google that, they find a bunch of questions that are in the A plus book, put those in a interview questions, and they ask you. And then the reason why this is when you're being asked some of these questions is because they don't know how to expand from it. They just kind of tell you the answer and then move on. But in any case, that's a different conversation. But for me, I wanted to pass the interviews. I didn't want to be A plus certified. I remember reading that book. I read the whole book. I should really have these books kind of laying around right next to me. They're in my bedroom. I read the whole book. It's a really thick book. It's bigger than the CCNP that I have here. It's bigger than this book. I think it's like 500 pages or something like that. I read that book from cover to cover. Read it one time over for sure. There's some of the other ones I read a few times just to kind of reaffirm some of the stuff that I had some issues understanding. Now, those are kind of like the boot process, what the CPU does, the heat sink, what does that do, what important a fan is, just some of that basic knowledge. Now, I still have that knowledge. From this day, I still use that reference knowledge that I got from the A+. I think the A+ is extremely valuable. Now, I don't think you should be certified. I don't think you should take however, some people take shorter amounts of time taking it. I took the A+, and I just read it once. I did this. I read it one time over, with some of the ones kind of reaffirm some of the, like I said, we read some of the chapters, and then I did not take notes. Maybe I did. I don't know. I don't remember notes being written for this, so I didn't take notes. Obviously, not good enough. So, and it took me about 2 months because I was working. I remember working at a warehouse and I had my book up, boom, and then I was reading with a highlighter. I didn't always use highlighters. And I've learned since then how to properly highlight. Just highlight the whole fucking book. But I would go and be like, okay, I'm taking their trucks. Okay, you'll be okay, good. All right, have a good night. And then I would work a night shift, and then I'll start reading. I'll fall asleep in my book. I'll take breaks or whatever, and then boom, and then end up passing out on my book. Then go back into work and all that. So, I carry that thing everywhere with me until I finish reading it. And I'm also a slow reader, but in any case, it took me about 1 to 2 months to finish that book. Then I got the job. Now, I took the test, but then when I took it, I didn't want to take it because I was like, I read the book, I might as well try to take it. I took it, failed it. It had some labs in there I wasn't prepared for. Like I said, I didn't prepare for the exam. I just read the book. So, and when you hear this, you will always hear the network checker laid it down real easily for everyone to understand. But through my experience, there's always the art, and I agree with him. There's always 3 basic things you need. You need to lab everything. You need a book to read to reference, and then, in my opinion, you do need a practice test. So lab it, read it, and then lab it, read it, and then practice it. Those are the kind of my idea of a triangle of what you need to prepare for an exam. Now, what I did was I read it. That's it. No practice it, and I did not lab it. So I failed it, right? But however, I still got the job using that book as a reference. I read the book, took the interviews. In the interviews, they asked me some of the A+ questions. I passed and sold myself to the job, and I got the job with an associate's degree, and I read the A+ week. Why does that matter? Because I never had to put the A+ in my resume to get the job, because I just needed to. I had the associate's degree, and I had some experience, and I went there and sold myself at work, at the particular job. So now, with that being said, I saved myself 4 to 6 months of studying a certificate that I don't really want. I don't want the A+. The A+ puts you at a help desk role, which is great. However, I was very adamant that I want to be in networking. The further I got away from help desk, the better for me. However, I still ended up, but that's, again, a different conversation. So I read that, didn't get certified. I was doing the CCNA, and the CCNA has always been a mental challenge for me. Once I passed that first one, I think a lot of these, I failed the CCNP. I'm surprised I failed it, but the fact that it didn't affect me as much as when I first failed the CCNA. When I first failed the CCNA, I didn't look at any CCNA, but I quit. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. It's too hard. Because that test was hard as hell. Because I felt like just showing up to a boot camp is enough. And I quickly realized it isn't. You have to put in that extra time. I was like, I'm doing all this stuff, but I was just there. I wasn't really mentally there. So, but in any case, for the CCNA, it was a mental block for me. So it took me much longer than 4 to 6 months. But my opinion, the 4 to 6 months of dedicated time that I invested in the CCNA when I finally did pass it, I remember, because I used to fight Muay Thai. So when I used to wake up, I used to go to work early, study for an hour to 45 minutes, study during my lunch, another half an hour, because sometimes I kind of bullshit and watch some other stuff, watch videos and all that. Study for half an hour. Then I actually spent a lot of money in my CCNA, a lot of money that I didn't need to, just because I was insecure, because I thought that I needed to spend this enormous amount of money for the CCNA to uncover all these different knowledge. No, it's all in the book. I'm telling you right now, it's all in the book. If you don't understand, it's on the book. You may need to do some videos if you like and all that. But during that time, I realized for me, I hate videos. Man, I hate fucking videos. I can't study with videos. It's hard for me to grasp what's important, what isn't important in a video series. I do like videos when I'm labbing something to understand it. But man, videos is hard for me to learn. When I get in the book, I can kind of see what's highlighted, what's bolded. I can boom, and I can quickly reference back to it real easily by just maybe carrying the book with me. Same thing with like a tablet. If it's something that's text, I can go back and reread it again until I finally get it and understand it. With a lab environment, that's kind of how I best approach it. But for me to do that, I spend a few $100s on. I used. Oh wow! It's not CBT Nuggets. CBT Nuggets is cool because it's not such big investment, but I spent like an enormous amount of money for some video series that I didn't need. Wow, I'm gonna have to get back to that. I forgot what it was. But anyways, I used to listen to some of the videos. They kind of did help, but not worth the money. I think I could have just put a little bit more time reading and kind of. Like, I kept trying to figure out that there was like just some magical thing in the air that I was missing, that once I grab it, then boom, I pass my certification. However, I was already doing that by spending consistent days studying. Even in my weekends, I'll study. And the weekends, I'll study even longer because I have a time constraint. Because I wake up in the morning, like I said earlier, show up an hour to 45 minutes, 30 minutes of lunch, about 45 minutes after work. Now, after work, I will study, then I'll go to the gym. Go on Muay Thai, go home, go to sleep, do it all over again. So I had this routine, right? Now, once I moved, I kind of like, but I kept studying, but I was already ready. Like within 3 to 4 months, I was already ready. I remember it had to be before August, September, October. because I was ready by October, November. I was ready by October, November, but I was like, no, I'm gonna keep studying. September, I think I was ready. Yeah, so it had to be before August. 3 months of 3 or 4 months before August, whatever that is. February, March, April. I think April and May, where I started. I started studying, and then by September I was already ready. I was going to delay it, and then I got transferred to Vegas, and all kinds of personal stuff happened to me, and then kept reading, but I was like, I already read this, I already know this, what I lab this, or I already know it. Took a practice exam, finally purchased practice exam. I think that's what it was kind of hesitant on the practice exam because it gives you a certain amount of months. I think in 30 days or 60 days to practice it. So I was like, I want a good time frame. So I took that, did well. So it's like, when do I need it? So finally everything kind of cooled down in my life in February. I took it, February, March, something like that. Then I passed the exam. So see, all that study, I did not do that at all with A+. I just literally read it, took it, failed it. So when some people do, we also understand their background. If they've messed with a lot of hardware before in their lives and they go and read the book and then take it, they may be able to pass it. For me, I didn't do that. I never built a computer before. This new one that I'm going to be purchasing, I'm purchasing parts for, is the first computer I'm going to build. It's not my background. I'm more of the reason why I fit into this field is because I like to troubleshoot stuff. I like to figure things out. That's it. And with networking, it's a lot of that. Things break. Literally, there is people running everywhere trying to figure out what's going on, like figure out how to work around a problem. And you're there in the center of it trying to bring it all like down and resolve it for everyone. Once you figure out the core problem, and then you should start slowly, like smaller issues, until everything's kind of back and settled. Now, sometimes it takes 30 minutes, other times it takes 6 hours. Depends, So in that environment, I really like a high pressure environment, a high adrenaline rush, just all of that. I really enjoy it. Now, that's why I particularly like it. Now, I don't like troubleshooting an issue with, if you have an issue with your monitor, okay, let's replace it, or let's replace that cable. I don't like doing stuff like that. It's troubleshooting, but it's just not, I don't enjoy it. Do I enjoy building a computer? I haven't done it before. I always wanted to, but not really, because it's been years. Now I kind of want to take advantage of me building a custom workstation because I want it a particular way. So I'm gonna just take advantage of that and gain like two birds with one stone, right? Get the workstation I want, at the same time get that experience of building my first computer. Now, with that being said, I took the 1 to 2 months of reading to get my first job at an entry level position, and then get the CCNA after. This was 3 years after. So I failed this, and 3 years later I passed CCNA. Because I finally was able to get into a position with my company where I had some time to. Prior to that, I used a lot of the existing CCNA knowledge of my degree and work experience that got my A+ to just kind of build a lot of those projects, like build my resume up. I was just building my resume up. So once I got my CCNA, everything's just I think this what was not me getting fired or me like seizing the opportunity. No, it's me getting the certification, me getting my CCNA with 4 or 5 years of prior experience in networks. That's what it was. And once I finally got certified, everything kind of just started. Oh, you're CCNA, or you're the only one that we've interviewed that's certified. Or you're the only one that, like, yeah. And on top of that, well, have you done this? But yeah, I have. It's I'm just like, well, wow. That's why reading sometimes and just learning, if you just learn it and you don't get I should put that here. If you just learn it versus getting certified, may actually be more beneficial for you. If you pick up a book, if you're getting a job, this is what I had experienced. If the job description says VMware Windows 2016 server. Now, say within a job description you have, wow, I love how I spelled that. It has any one of those two topics. What you do after that is you go on Udemy or you go somewhere, pick up a book about 200-300 pages that covers those two basic topics in its basic form. You read those two books, you apply for that job, go into the interview, and you highlight some of those topics. You may fail the first interview. Take it as your first attempt at a certificate. You may fail the first interview. You go, as soon as you leave there, you have a notepad ready, sit down and write down all the questions that you remember. Go and research that, study that, write down flashcards. When you go into your next job, study those flashcards. Go into it, study the books, just go back into it, and you start discussing it. I guarantee you get the job. It's about selling yourself. It's about being knowledgeable. It isn't really about being certified. Being certified is knowing something so well that it's like you're a specialist at that point. When you get certified, you're a specialist. People are not knocking out certificates because of a lot of free time, or they're trying to change their careers, and so they're like kind of like want to dive into something to get away from their life that they don't like, right? Because that's what I did. That's what many people do. I went to school, got away from my life that I didn't like, because in school I loved it because it was something that I had control over. I loved my life that the school was potentially going to provide for me, right? But knowing to something to that extent, you should be cautious with it. Don't, in my opinion, do not invest all that energy on A+. Read the A+. Once you finish reading the A+, once you finish reading the Net Plus, I would invest in Security Plus. I have this book and studied it. I read about 6 chapters, and then honestly, the CCNP it's always going to be a distraction for me. Everything else, CCNP is the person I want to marry. Everything else is a side chick. You know what I'm saying? Everything is for me. Everything aside from that is like, man, this is hard. I'm gonna go look at something easy. What does that look like? What benefits could that be? Like, should I use that? Benefits? I really want the CCNP. Always want it. Same thing with the CCNA. I was going through the same experience as CCNA. Well, actually, not really. CCNA, I already knew I wanted that. There was nothing else that I was, well, kind of. The OSC, people were distracting with the OSCP because I already had all that knowledge. Again, getting certified versus just knowing. A lot of people were just saying, get certified in this, get certified in that. I'm like, I know I want that. That looks interesting. That looks cool. That looks fun. However, I really want to knock this out. Like, I really like this. So just knowing what you want, and then knowing when you get, like this weekend, I bought AWS. I didn't even expect to talk about this, but AWS Practitioner, which is the lowest level. It's like an associate. It's the lowest level, like the CCNA, lowest level networking stuff for that particular vendor. Same thing with AWS. So CCNA is the lowest level. Now it is. Before it was ICND 1, but CSAT. But now with the present scenario that we're in now, CCNA is the lowest level for Cisco. AWS Practitioner, that's the lowest level for them. So I want to get into that. I actually thinking about getting cloud. I always talked about cloud or security. How come I not just do cloud security? There's a book in my wish list right now on Amazon, which is AWS penetration testing, which I think is really cool. And I logged into the AWS portal. Man, it looks so dope. Like, I can imagine like 20 VMs, 100 VMs on there, instances, all doing different things. It's just like, I think that's really dope. The fact that I don't have to do it from home, right? So, but in any case, I would read, not get certified, And one of the things too, Rudy's actually certified, I believe, in the Net Plus and the Security Plus. This was a highlight to me, not this. I don't even know if he's this or not. And he was, because he got the OSCP. He has OSCP. I'm like, boom, like that's crazy. I didn't even look at anything else. I think he even has a degree. I didn't even know he was going to college. But the fact that he has OSCP shot my attention because I'm aware of it. A lot of people aren't, but I'm aware of the OSCP, what it takes to get it, what skills you need to have, which is troubleshooting skills, attention to detail, drive, want, right? Why? It's like you can't take that certificate and kind of want to be in IT, but not really. You have to want to be in IT to take the certificate. And that thing covers security. It doesn't cover this, but it covers these two topics, right? So, and maybe this, because you have to understand what a processor does within, so does RAM. So maybe, I think, it covers all of this. A good amount, maybe it's like 40, 30, 20. I think that's what the breakdown will be, or 40, 30. No, it'll be 40, 40, 20. That'll be probably a good one. 40, 40, 20. But in any case, I would read these. I would take 1 or 2 months of just reading one of these, or both of these, or all of these, right? If you want to get certified Sec Plus, go for it. But in my opinion, I would read this. If you don't want to be in a government work, you don't necessarily need this. What I would do after that is get certified in something. Now, there's 3 major topics, in my opinion, right? Yeah, 3 major topics for the next level, and there's potentially 4, but this is where I would go. If what I would do is read all these, put it in your resume that you read them, read the following certification books, boom, 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 and then put under skills in a lab environment I built and designed, and then put a bunch of lab stuff you've done instead of a basic network topology. To put under education, understanding concepts of spanning tree. It's just like everything in there. It's just kind of like load up the stuff you learned from these books, put it in your skills, education, just all the education read books. There's skills. That's probably what education read, CompTIA Plus, Net Plus, Security Plus, skills built. Let me see, skills, and then put like all the stuff you learned from these books. Skills is something that you understand, you can do, right? Set up lab environments of it. You can go on eBay and buy these small little switches. Understand like the switches, plug them in together, put in a cheap router in the middle, right? You can buy a router for $100, $50, just depending what you want. pfSense, you can do some stuff like that. Plug it in together, boom, all of a sudden you have these skills now, real world skills, and sell yourself during the interview. Read these books, then pick up specialty. Now the 4th one I'll describe after this, but these are the major ones, in my opinion, that will get you very high up in your career right away. The topics are cloud, networking, and security. And actually the real ones are cloud and security. Networking is because I like networking, I threw it in there. But reality is, so let's go with cloud first. What I recommend is AWS, right? Because this is what I would do. I'm never going to recommend something that I wouldn't do. And I really like AWS. Now, this is their tracks, the fundamental, the practitioner. And then you go into solutions architect, the top level, and DevOps engineer. I believe the DevOps engineer was the hardest exam that AWS has. Don't quote me on it. I believe it's just watching some of these videos and people describing. I believe they said that this is the most difficult one. I kind of really like the solutions architect, but I'm not sure. Just by reading the titles, I like that. I like the architect name. To build and design, to be the one understanding the whole scope of the project, right? I really like that being part of my title. Sounds real cool. DevOps engineer, this tells me kind of more developing, typing something together, you building something from scratch, which is also pretty cool. So what I kind of like is solutions architect and then solutions architect professional. Like I just don't like sysops. What does that mean? I don't want to be administrator anymore. I'm tired of that. That's what kind of way. Just talking you through my. I actually think I purchased a track to get to here from an Udemy. Any case, and I'm using my mouse on my. That's probably why you guys are seeing that. But in any case, I was throwing myself a little bit there. So I think I purchased track from here, and even though visually I kind of like this, but even so, even they say, look, comprehensive experience signing up for like 2 years of, so they like want you to have some type of experience because they realize that reading, getting certified, you know something, but at the same time, getting some of that experience is what will get you to this level, right? So this is what I would do. I would get the AWS and actually spend the 4 to 6 months that I was discussing of that 12-month in a year to get certified in this. What I wouldn't mind, and it's to say, look, all right, well, I still feel insecure about some of that. Like I still can't get a job, want to get a job right away. What I would do then, read the A plus, read the Net plus, or read the A plus, read the Net plus, and get certified in the Sec plus. Read one or A or Net. It doesn't matter which one you want. Read them either one. And then get certified in actual Net plus and spend the 4 to 6 months to get the Security plus. And then after that, pick your specialty that you like. Now, obviously, it's not I'm very fluid. I think some of the stuff that my girlfriend's like struggling with sometimes is that for me, I'm very fluid. I change my mind a lot. I'm kind of just like always just like doing things, testing them out. I don't like that. I like this. I like that. I like this. I'm kind of just always doing stuff. Now, for me, I would buy, like if I was first starting out, I would buy the AWS book, read that, or because it's less commitment. So I'll buy the stuff that requires least commitment. The CCNA book. I thought I clicked that. It requires very, very little commitment. Exam topics. Well, network fundamentals, network access, IP connectivity. Now it's doing it. So this requires very little. You just buy a book, and then you're up and running. Right? There's not much to it. These are the stuff that you've covered. Now, there's a lot of stuff, right? It's a very difficult test, in my opinion. But they took away the labs, so I don't know how it'll be now. I don't think it'll be as fun. But any case, this is something I'll spend some time on. I'll read this book, though I like it, to pique my interest. I'll get an A plus practitioner or a AWS practitioner book. This pique my interest. Juniper is another option. Now, a lot of people, and the reason I brought this up is because I've been following on Twitter, and it's been a kind of a trend. People talking about Juniper certification. And actually, I kind of like this breakdown. It's much easier. It's much simpler. I do count on more on security for Juno than Cisco, just because I've seen Juniper more on the security side than Cisco. Cisco's very core layer 2, layer 3 routing at the customer side and kind of the backbone. But anytime you're doing filtering and stuff like that, I think, in my opinion, people are using Junipers and Palo Alto. But in any case, and they even have a cloud. This is something I'll be interested in. But honestly, I think I put this in my wish list. Put this in my wish list here instead of cloud. But who knows? I do like automation. I think I'm going to go with automation for Cisco, but we'll see on the CCNP. Now, this is the 2 books. These are all books. These are about $50 to $60 books, both of them. CCNA, the Juniper. And here's another one. This is even a bigger investment. This is OSCP This is a PWK certification. This is kind of like the prerequisite. You take this, then allows you to get the OSCP, access to the test. So we buy this as a core minimum, and then once you get this, then you take the preparation, and then you can allow to take the OSCP exam. That's kind of how it works. Now, so these are the new modules, and kind of just like bash scripting, traditional buffer overflows, PowerShell. This is cool. PowerShell Empire. That's real dope. They added that. PowerShell really powerful. Labs, and then has all the stuff, which is cool. Targeting has all demonstrated penetration exercise, extra mile exercises. So I wish they'll cover more cloud. That would be real dope if they had a cloud on here. So it's a 24-hour exam. So here's a big commitment, right? And this costs a lot of money. I wonder where I can get the cost of this. Of course, they're gonna tell me the cost. All right, whatever. It's about $800 ish, the exam. Then plus, I think it comes with, depends on how much like lab hours you want. If you want 60 days, 30 days lab hours, it costs extra money for that. An extension, it gets up there. I think it's about $1,500 when it's all said and done. Like it's a good estimation, because that might be over. $1,500, maybe a little bit too. Hey, chill! I got like $1,000. You're good. Well, still, it's in the $1,000 mark. So, so this is security. This is a very big specialty, right? This is what and then so there's that. And actually, I think I skipped one over. So this is the biggest commitment, right? It's something, in my opinion, that you need to know you want to do, right? But a good introduction to that, again, is reading the Security Plus, reading the Network Plus, reading the A Plus, and what you like. Now, if you're more interested in security, but don't want to make this big of a commitment, I would take this. Certified Information System Security Professional. Earning the ISSP proves you have the ability at effectively designing, implementing, and manage based on cybersecurity program. So this is an older test, but it's a very sought after test. It's a reputable test. People indeed look for this. It's actually C. So I think I did my initial look, because when I was like way back, I was like, what do I want to do after CCNA? Do I want to CCNP? Do I want to do security? What do I want to do? So let's look at CSP. Just look at that. There's only one here. Oh no, there's more. Cybersecurity compliance consultant, cyber engineer, internal audit, data center, CISP or CISP 1 year, CCIA, whatever. See, look at that, boom. It is a higher level test, right? I'm seeing a lot of seniors. I'm seeing like security analysts. This is pretty cool. It is something that you'll probably be okay with. The administration, see how that popped up there too? Because security always relates to net. I think security is kind of like a very, very big specialty, but also part of a tree of information that you kind of just need to know. So it is a higher level test, the CISP. That's why getting certified lower level is better and reading the books. So that's why I said for here, there's nothing that'll give you a step up, in my opinion, that's worth it, except for the Security Plus. The Network Plus, it will, but there's always some of those people like myself and other just higher level professionals that will look at Security Plus, Network Plus, and expect certain level from you because we never took it, or like somebody with a Juniper certification or a Cisco certification. And I've done this in real life, is why I say I'm saying this comfortably, is that you may run into a situation where somebody's expecting you to be able to know how to operate a console. Okay, plug it in. And I'm like, well, what's that? Like, I never done that before. It's just like, oh, didn't you take the Network Plus? Yeah, they don't do that? Like, oh no. It's like, all right, so they expect a certain level from you. In my opinion, Network Plus would only show how not prepared you are, because I don't think, based on the people that I've seen take the Network Plus, I don't think they're at that level yet as a network guy. And I think it sets you up kind of a failure, because it gets you into that network role, but it's actually like a help desk network role, but which it's like a big gray area, because it's like you're a help desk guy who understands networking that won't tell somebody just reboot their core switches or something like that. Like he's competent enough not to tell them to do that, but say not advanced enough to understand or troubleshoot VLANs. So, or log into a switch, period. All right, you don't know the IP of the switch. How do you find it? I don't know. Or, okay, well, you don't know the IP of the switch, Spanish switch. How do you log into it? What would you do next? I don't know. A lot of I don't knows. I think the CCNA prepares you more with that, or allows you to troubleshoot stuff more effectively because of the examples that it gives you, based again on the people that I've seen took it, unless they're completely lying to me, they never took it before. Who knows? But in my opinion, I've seen positive things from the A plus, not so from the Net plus, and Security Plus. Great things. I've seen a lot of people who take the Security Plus and they're very knowledgeable by that point. So, and then this kind of gives you just best practices on stuff. So I think taking this will get you at a certain level, even at a desktop role, and they'll look at you as a higher person at a desktop, even though you're really not. You're just somebody who studied the Security Plus and got certified in it. And then from there, you can go into CISP or the OSCP. This is my opinion, will get you the most real world experience. This right here will prepare you. Like someone with like 2-3 years experience should take this right here, because or prepare for it while they're at their help desk role or their IT technician role. But again, in my opinion, I wouldn't get certified in either of these two things. I would read them really well and then study something at a higher level for a longer period of time. You don't have to take 4 to 6 months. You can take a year, take a whole year to get the system, the whole year to get the AWS practitioner. You can take a whole year to take the CCNA. Who cares? Take your time with it, understand it, because when they hire you, you want to be so good. Because when you start demanding some of these raises, right, you have something to back you up. You know that, well, I can go somewhere else. I can. I'm sorry. Like, I'm that good. Like, I know this. You can hire someone who also has a certificate, but maybe knock it out in 6 months and not know it as well as I do. But I've been studying this for about a year and a half. And when I finally took the test, finally was able to build the confidence up, or whatever the backstory is. You took the test, you knocked it out of the park. You understand every little bit of concept of the certificate. That actually speaks more volumes than somebody who just took it and is part of their like 5 or 6, and they know how to memorize stuff. People know how to memorize things very well and go and take like a brain dump, take it, and then able to pass the certification, but then during real world implementation of it, you're not doing so well. That speaks volumes as well. So you don't want to be stuck in that environment. You want to be somebody who's really understanding everything that the certificate is giving you, because you can throw weight around with that certificate because of your knowledge with it. So again, the differences between learning and being certified is that learning is just gathering information. Some of it sticks, some of it doesn't. You're not trying to take this ultimate test that tests your, comprehension of the whole scope of topics. It's trying to get past an interview that has some of these questions on it, right? Or some of these basic concepts that help you pass the interview. And also troubleshoot during real world experiences. During you're in a desktop role because you read the A+ book and you're reading the Network Plus now. right? And then you're having this one person, and you're working in a small company, and this one company's having some uh, broadcast storm or something, right? Or a cable's bad and intermittent issue, something. And you're reading this book, and it helps you troubleshoot that experience, and all of a sudden you're being more exposed to more networking stuff and things of that nature. So these books allow you to kind of just absorb some of that knowledge. And then for me, it's hard for me to do that. It's hard for me to do that because I always want to see the end of the road. I always see, well, like, what is this getting me to? And with just learning, it gives you nowhere really. It just gets you a bunch of different knowledge to, and the end goal on this aspect would be a new job, right? Uh, and it's really good to do this early in your career, because early in your career you're just trying to get in. Once you get in the door, it's kind of like, all right, now what, right? Just you get it caught up on experiences and knowledge, and just da, 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 da. But when it comes to when it comes to just certifications now, do you want to do it now, like do it right away, and then spend 4 months into it, 6 months into it, and then take the test? Or do I, and then kind of like not like what you took? You took it, you're like, I want to do something else now. It's better to actually just learn it and not to commit so much right away. Study, like read, and kind of like, oh, I like this, drop it. Like, I'll read this, okay, drop it. And then once you kind of find with that niche that you like, then you double down. Then you spend months studying it, understanding it, investing the money, right? When you invest the money across all these certificates, if you take the AWS and the CCNA and then you spread everywhere. If you just read these core concept books, and it allows you to be more flexible, because once you get your bigger level certificate, AWS, you say you get AWS, and you spent 2 years at a help desk role because you read A plus and Security Plus. You put AWS practitioner, cloud practitioner in your resume. They don't look at you as a low level guy. They'll look at you at the very high level. But as soon as you put an A plus in there that you got certified, they'll look at you as, oh, he can troubleshoot some of this hardware stuff that we got going on. They have like this computer's having like slowness for some reason. Troubleshoot that for me. And then you have an AWS cloud certificate, and you're like, I got hired as a cloud administrator. Why am I doing this? But it's because they understand that you know that A plus stuff. So it always kind of get you at a look at you as a low level. It's kind of like somebody who started as a, like me, like I loaded trailers. They always look, and then I went to become a manager. They would look at me as a guy who always loaded trailers at that company. I go somewhere else as a manager, start off there as a manager, and then look at me as just a manager. So learn versus certifications. Get the certifications when you start really knowing what you want to do with your career, or willing to invest the money. I say about $1,000 is a good investment. $50 for the books, exam preparation. Some of them take a few $100s, and then sometimes you want to do like 2 of them, and then lab equipment. So $1,000 or less is always a good, like for CCNP, I think I spent about $1,000. So with the lab equipment, and that'll be a separate conversation. So I do want to keep these within an hour. So I think we'll wrap it up here. But again, learning is just buying the books, reading the knowledge, reading the information. Sorry, gaining the knowledge, reading the information. Certification is perfecting it, knowing it at an instinct of all this information, and get tested on it. So certifications take more time, reading doesn't. So just kind of evaluate what you're looking for there. So I would appreciate you guys checking out this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And check out my my website, the itblog.info. I'm putting a lot more of these videos up there as well. Peace.